What's going on, guys? Moto Fever Media back again with another video. Today I want to talk about the 250 East region and who we can expect to see at the season opener this weekend in Detroit. So, first, I just want to go through kind of a list of guys, and it's not going to be an extensive list, just kind of the top guys and who I think we can expect to see this weekend. Um, and then we'll circle back through once we go through that, and we'll kind of talk about what we can expect or what I think we can expect from those guys, what to look for, and just some key points. So if you just want to know who's in and who's out, just stick around for the start of the video. If you want a more extensive look into everything, then this whole video will probably be for you. But with all that being said, starting out at the top is the number 6, Jeremy Martin, doing it for Club MX. On the number 16, returning for KTM this year, is going to be the Tom Vial. On the 33, debuting the Triumph, is going to be Jalek Swoll. Number 37 for Firepower Honda is going to be Max Anstie. On the 38, it's going to be Hayden Deegan, doing it for Star Racing Yamaha. 39, returning for Gas is going to be Pierce Brown. On the 40, doing it for RX Suzuki is going to be Dylan Schwartz. 43 is going to be Seth Hammaker, doing it for Pro Circuit Kawasaki. 48, going to be Chance Hymas on the Honda. Number 50, Enzo Lopes, going to be racing for Star Racing Yamaha this year. On the 58, it's going to be Cullen Park, doing it for Phoenix Racing Honda. 59 is going to be Daxton Bennick, doing it for Star Racing Yamaha as well. Just want to note here, Styles Robertson did earn the number 61 last year, and he is still on Star Racing Yamaha, but he should be out with a wrist injury. On the 63 is going to be Cameron McAdoo, doing it for Pro Circuit Kawasaki. 64 is just going to be his teammate, Austin Faulkner, also on the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Number 69 is going to be Cody Schock, who is going to be racing for Club MX this year. On the 75, it's going to be Marshall Welton. And then on the 83, we're going to have, for the first time in Supercross, Guillaume Ferris, doing it on the Husky this year. Also on the Club MX team is going to be the 99 of Jet Reynolds, 166 of Casey Cochran, who is also going to be doing it on the Husky this year. Lastly, we got the teammate to Jalek Swoll on the 751, which is going to be Evan Ferry. So that's just a quick run through of most of the guys that are going to be, well known and that are should be lining up this weekend. There's not an official start list or entry list out yet. So that's just who I'm aware of. So let's circle back through and let's kind of go over where these guys should be at, in my opinion, as well as what we can expect out of them, also in my opinion. So Jeremy Martin, he is obviously returning with the Club MX team this year. He's past champion. That's why he has a single-digit number of 6. And really not a whole lot to say. He's a veteran. He's consistent. He's never been that good at Supercross, and he's not bad at Supercross, so probably just expect for him to be right around 5th in the championship, probably right around the top 5 all season. Tom Vial, he's going to be running the number 16 this year. He earned the lowest number out of everybody that earned a number, so he just missed out on getting a career number last year. He was the first one out, which if you don't know, that means that you have to get in the top 10 overall out of combined 250 and 450 points that are combined over the Supercross and the Motocross season. So there's only 10 riders eligible for a career number per season, and most of those guys obviously are already running their career numbers. So long story short, the number 16 was the first eligible number that was not claimed because of Osborne no longer being on the number 16. And therefore, he's going to be running the number 16 this year. So all that is to say, he was very consistent last year. He did well. I expect him to do a little bit better. I think that he did make every Supercross main last year, so I look for him to repeat that and just try to be a little more consistent, probably get a few podiums, and just be just outside of that championship fight. Jalek Swoll, a little bit harder to say with him. He's obviously debuting the Triumph this weekend. He's never been a championship contender. I don't expect him to be this time. I don't think that bike is going to be perfect, and so therefore I think any podium at any point this year would be like a win. I don't expect him to be on the podium really anytime soon. I think a realistic goal would be a top 5, but I think he'll probably finish around 8th. Max Anstey obviously was able to win a race last year, was a championship contender at some points, didn't end up being, really in the mix at the end of the season, but with all that being the case, I don't necessarily expect him to win this year, but I think he can. I think that he'll probably be right around 4th or 5th in the opener. Hayden Deegan, obviously won the SMX championship. It looks like he's getting better and better, but he is recovering from an injury right now. He looks healthy. He looks like he'll be ready to go. I don't necessarily expect him to come out and win, but I think he can. So I look to him to be on the podium and possibly be able to win in Detroit. Moving on down to Pierce Brown, returning for Gas Gas. He's had a rough couple of years, so I think he's going to look to just build and stay healthy this season, show some flashes. I hope that he can be in the top 5, but realistically, I look to him to be just outside the top 5, right around that 6th, 7th place. Dylan Schwartz, a little hard to say with him. Obviously, he was pretty consistent last year. He was able to earn the number 40, so good on him. Doing it for that Bar X team that's having a lot of success down the West Coast right now, so hopefully he can keep that momentum rolling for them. But with all that being said, I look for him to be right around that, 11th place, right outside the top 10. Moving down to Seth Hamaker, obviously on a great team. He's on that Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. Looks like they got that bike pretty well sorted. So hopefully he can stay off the ground, stay smooth, stay fast. I look for him to be right around 4th place. Probably not going to get on the podium, but he could win at any given moment. He's got this talent. He's got the speed. So we'll see what happens with that. Chance Hymas returning for Honda. He did have some pretty nice flashes last year. I believe he was leading out actually for a while in Pro Motocross. They didn't really let him race the full Supercross season last year, so hard to say exactly how he's going to do. With all that being said, I look for him to be right around 8th place. So hopefully he can build. Obviously that team won everything last year, so I don't think they expect him to win, but I know they want him to win. Enzo Lopes, he is in a pretty screwed up situation, so he is on a great team. He's on the Star Racing Yamaha team, but he burned the bridge with the Club MX team that helped him do so well last year. And so he doesn't have a lot of places to turn to from here. I don't think a lot of teams are going to want to, reach their hand out, because if you can't make it on the Star bike, what bike is going to be better for you? So whatever he does this season on the Star Racing team, any team's going to look at that and expect him to do slightly worse on their team, I would assume. So therefore, he really has to put in some good results to either be able to stay with the Star team, because he's only on a Supercross only 1-year deal, or if not, have some really good flashes that are going to open up a door for another factory team. Hopefully, I wish the best for him. Realistically, I expect him to be right around 5th or 6th. Colin Park got Rookie of the Year when he debuted a couple years back. He's riding for that Phoenix Racing Honda team, which does have a lot of good support from Honda. He's got a lot of, he's got a good setup. He's got a lot of talent. I expect him to be right around 9th place. Daxton Bennick, he's also on Star Racing. I'm not really sure what to expect out of him. He's obviously a young kid coming into the class, so it really could go any direction, but realistically I expect him to be right around 7th. So moving on down to McAdoo, with McAdoo, he's got a lot of grit. He's got a lot of talent. Um, I hope he can have a great season. I don't expect him to have a great season as far as, what he's capable of. I think that he'll probably be around fourth place at the opener. And I expect him to have some speed and maybe make a mistake or two. But in general, he could win. And I hope he does get a couple wins this season to have something to show for all the effort he's put in throughout his career. Same thing with Faulkner. I do expect him to have a little bit more speed than McAdoo. So hopefully, I think the only thing holding him back right now is just mental, pressure and just the fact that he should have already accomplished a lot more than he has. So hopefully he can keep himself off the ground, and hopefully he can bring home some race wins this year. Um, I don't expect him to win at the opener, but I do think that he could easily be on the podium. I look for him to be either second or third place. Cody Schock, he's on that Club MX team this year, so he's got a great base, I would assume. I don't really know what to expect out of him. If I had to put a number on it, I would say look for him right around 12th place. Guillaume Ferris, obviously, he's on the Husky, so he's on a good factory team. He's never raced Supercross. He did pretty good in motocross. He obviously had that gnarly arm injury right at the opening of pro motocross last year. But we know he's a capable rider. We know he has talent. But Supercross is not the same as motocross, so I don't expect him to be in the top 5. I think he'll be just right around that top 10 place, probably, realistically around 13th. Let's jump down to Jet Reynolds. So he's also on the Club MX team. Obviously, he was kind of a prodigy coming out of amateurs. He was on that Team Green Pro Circuit team. He was with Mitch for a while, and he had some pretty big expectations put on him, and he never really met any of them. I don't think that was entirely his fault. So I hope that he can bounce back this year with Club MX. I do think that he was probably close to just calling it a career. I know that he had some injuries and some setbacks, and it's hard when you're expected to come in and take over and you just don't really do anything. I look for him to probably just try to build this year. Hopefully he can kind of bounce back in a similar way to what Jordan Smith is doing now. Obviously different because he was never even a title threat in the first place. I look for him to be right around 7th place. I think that would be a great finish for him. Now let's talk about Casey Cochran, the other Husky rider. He's going to be, making his pro debut. Really hard to say with him. We've only seen him in futures. He looked good. He didn't look great. I expect him to be right outside that top 10, realistically. Probably hunting for like that 13th, 12th place, somewhere in there. Evan Ferry, the Triumph teammate to Jalek Swoll. So both the Triumphs are debuting on the East Coast this year. Evan Ferry, same kind of thing with Casey. We've only seen him in futures. And when we did, he was not on a Triumph, and it was nothing spectacular. It was good. I think that all we can expect is a top 15. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think he's got good people behind him. But I don't think the bike is that good. I think it's probably good, but I don't think it's great. So I think if he can get a top 10, that would be like a win. Realistically, I think he's right around 15th. That covers a lot of the East Coast guys we can expect to see this weekend. Let me know if you think I forgot anyone. Let me know your thoughts on who you think is going to win. With all that being said, guys, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for sticking around. Appreciate you, and we'll catch you in the next video.